what I want to do in this video is share with you a great drill, and it's something that I use all the time with online students. Now, what happens, or what you should be doing when you're either taking lessons or you're trying to scour through the internet and checking out information from a wealth of golf instructors and golf specialists to try and improve your game, is the thing that you don't want to lose sight on is context. Now, what I mean by context is particularly what's the problem that's forcing you to scour through the internet in the first place. A lot of golfers that I get the opportunity to meet lose sight of that, and they just kind of fall in love with the idea of making swing changes without really aligning it to a particular need, and it just gets messy. And the reason why that's important is because that sort of problem of the ball flight, so whether you're a golfer who hooks the golf ball, or whether you're a golfer who doesn't strike it great, or whether you're a golfer who slices the ball, that's going to really align what type of swing choice you should be making. Now, the one drill that I use that can fix everything, and it can make it feel much more effortless and much more natural, is really simple. But the thing that you need to pay attention to in this video is there are different sort of ways to do it. So what I want to do first is I'm going to take a dramatic example of two different types of golfers that I tend to meet. So you've got the one golfer who's maybe an okay ball striker, good with the sort of short irons, but the longer clubs become more erratic and a little bit sort of, fade to slice biased, and they tend to move more this way. Okay, so they sort of swing back okay, but as they start the downswing, it's more this way. It's what you class as a little bit more sort of over the top, producing that type of curvature. Now, let's take a different example. Let's take an example of somebody who is maybe not so good with the ball striking, maybe slightly better with the longer clubs than they are with the shorter clubs, and they hit it, a bit heavy, block it out to the right, maybe get a bit more hooky. And again, a dramatic sort of interpretation of them is they'd probably move more like so. So the problem is with both of those golfers is a bit of sequence. They both don't tend to move enough towards the left or towards their lead side, which is a thing that I tend to see with most amateur golfers that surprises them. And a real simple drill that you can do to fix this is just grab your golf club, turn it upside down so you're holding the club head end, and just start making a few swings. Okay, so what you're going to do is just sort of recoil it back and through. Now, I'm a big fan of the lead arm and understanding the lead arm relationship in the golf swing. And one of the main reasons for this is because your lead arm is the only arm that's straight in the golf swing. So in the setter position, it would be pretty straight. In the backswing, it would stay relatively straight, back into impact, and then obviously to post impact to a degree until it has to start to bend, which we'll talk about in this drill. So I think if you can think about hitting the ball with a solid lead side, I think that's going to give you a much stronger feeling, maybe rather than always being so dependent on your trail hand. But what you need to do when you're doing this drill, first of all, you have to make sure that it's very easy to just get lazy in the backswing, just letting this lead arm bend. You need to make sure that you still turn, you still wind up in the backswing, and you still try and do your best to keep that lead arm straight by sort of elevating your lead arm up in the air. And what you now need to do is, if you're the golfer who goes this way and you're too slicey, you need to feel like your lead shoulder is going more up. See in the backdrop here, the way my lead shoulder is going more up. And this allows that club to drop down, okay? So if I sort of just show you this, so if you get that feeling of that lead shoulder going more up, then it'll help the club drop down like this. Now, if you're the golfer who does this, then you need to think about that lead shoulder going more down and around, okay? Like so. Okay, so that means if you were the kind of golfer that was doing too much of this, all of a sudden that feeling of that shoulder moving down and around will bring you back onto plane. So it's a really simple way to sort of, one, get that feeling of, swooshing the club through and releasing it. And I just think it's a nice, simple way to also, I've had an online student recently who was more slicey biased and just getting this feeling of getting more up and through the ball. Now, my last little point for that type of golfer is if you start worrying, hang on Russ, if I go up on the ball, am I going to hit too much up on it? Am I going to get poor contact? Well, no. And the reason why no is because, as I alluded to earlier, you should be moving to your lead side, both of those types of golfers. So if you're doing this drill like so, you really want to make sure you're moving so the way it moves to my lead side, and then even if I'm going up, I'm still going to control that low point. Obviously, if you feel like you're going to go down and around, you're not going to worry about that quite as much. So work on that drill. work on it as best as you possibly can. My last little point with this exercise is what you'll find quite liberating is how easy the through swing is, because you'll be like, oh my God, how easy is that? Well, bear in mind, one of the reasons why that's so easy is because if I sort of demonstrate a post-impact release here, my trail arm can't reach. So one of the reasons why your lead arm bends in the golf swing is because your trail arm can't keep up. So that's why it will feel slightly different, but you still want to try and keep that liberated approach to your swing. And you just need to understand that this relationship here and what you intend to do with this at the start of the downswing has a massive influence on how this moves. And it's a really simple drill, and if you can diagnose your problem correctly, it's something that can fix every different type of golfer. See you guys again really soon.